Hey everybody, Corblund here. I'm in historic Longview, Alberta, heart of Alberta's cattle country. About a year and a half ago, some family ranchers, friends of friends, got a hold of me and let me know that the Alberta government had plans to allow a lot of coal mining in this area. And we spoke up about it, and the good news is that Albertans really reacted strongly and have had a lot of success forcing the government to address the issue. The bad news is, despite what the government would have you think, it's not addressed. In my opinion, every step of the way, the government officials have been deceptive and duplicitous about the issue, and they say that they've addressed it, and they haven't. And that's happened 3 or 4 times, and in my opinion, that's where we're at now. They've made it look like it's fixed, but it's not fixed. They've gone out of their way to make the public think that the issue is finished and dealt with, but it's really not, in my opinion. I think we're still under grave danger of losing the landscape here and ranch land to coal mining. The good news about all this is that after making the public aware of this, Albertans have done a great job in speaking up and forcing the government to backtrack on this a little, and we've had some progress. The bad news is, despite the government's best efforts to make everyone think that the issue is dealt with, it's really not. Every step of the way, in my opinion, they've been deceptive about this, and they come out and give a speech and tell everyone that they've heard Albertans speak and they fixed it, and they really haven't fixed it, in my opinion. And there's been no definitive no to coal mining. And in my opinion, they've deliberately left themselves big gaping loopholes that they can still go forward with coal through. And I think we're still under grave threat of losing this landscape and this ranch land to coal mining. Every time I talk about this issue, I bring up 2 things. Number 1, I'm not political. I don't care about parties. I don't trust any of them. Number 2, I'm not against all resource extraction. It's just that I put a ton of study and work into this, learning about it. And I think this particular idea of open pit coal mines in the foothills of the Rockies is a stupid idea, and it's not good for Albertans, and it's not good for our mountains or our water. The mayor and council of High River have endorsed a coal policy that basically says 3 things. Number 1, it bans any future coal projects in Alberta or exploration for coal. And number 2, it makes sure that the existing companies have enough money to clean up their mess. And number 3, it makes sure that they clean up their mess in a timely fashion. I think those are great points, and if we could enshrine that into law, I think that would be a great thing. So I would encourage anybody who's considering attempting to lead the province to take a close look at it and endorse it as well. They need to address it for real, because I've been in this for a year and a half now, and over, every time the government addresses it, they try to fool us. They don't try to fix the problem, they try to figure out how to fool us. And they leave themselves loopholes, and they don't fix the problem, or they fix a little tiny corner of the problem, but they actually have to fix it. The bottom line is 80% of Albertans don't want coal mining in the Rockies, so let's not have it. You work for us. I don't really understand, because the polling consistently says vast majorities, 80% plus in most cases, of Albertans don't want open pit coal mining in the Rockies. It's pretty simple. And I don't understand why the government doesn't fix it. Like, they work for us, and I don't know if somebody's getting paid, or if there's a big lucrative job offer in the works or something, or if they're just ideological about it. But I really don't understand why the government doesn't respond properly to 80% of the population. 80%. There's a bunch of things wrong with this plan, but the biggest one is water. Water. It's both quality and quantity, right? Number 1, quantity. Coal mining is a thirsty business. It takes a lot of water, and I don't know where that's going to come from. Probably the Old Man River, I imagine. Number 2 is the quality issue, because coal mines always release selenium into the groundwater. And, you know, they don't have any proven technology to get rid of it. They'll say that they do, but they're just playing with the numbers. They really don't. I've looked into it very deeply with toxicologists and conservationists, even people from the coal mines themselves, and they cannot fix it. And all you have to do is look about 100K west to see what the future looks like if we let coal mines in. You don't have to go to Brazil, you don't have to go to Australia, you just have to go to Sparwood and Fernie and see what it looks like there. The jobs thing is kind of a bullshit argument, because what I'm hearing is a couple hundred jobs per mine. But what you have to do is you have to weigh that against the ag industry and the tourism industry and the film industry, because it's going to affect all those. And the royalty rate is really low. It's foreign companies doing the mining. All the coal's going to Asia. So Albertans are getting hardly anything out of this. And all we are getting is the tops of the mountains ripped off and the water wrecked for generations. And it's going to cost billions to fix that, if they can fix it. And it'll be our grandkids fixing it. So it's a stupid idea, and we should run these guys out of town. My family's been here many generations, and coal mining is a big part of Alberta's past, but I don't think it should be part of our future. Doesn't need to be. Despite what the government like to portray this as, this is a wide-ranging group of Albertans that are against the coal mines. I was brought into this by ranching families who've been here for generations, and they didn't want their place ripped up by a coal mine. And you know, this beautiful country, and it's sustainable, and you can have hunting, and you can have ranching, and you can have fishing, and you have tourism, you can have the film industry, but you can't have those things and coal mining. It'll wipe them all out. Now I'm angry. I'm not going away. And the government wants to deliberately stretch this thing out so people lose interest, but we have an eye on them, and I'm not going away on this issue, and nobody that I'm working with is going away on it until there's solid legislation in place that bans coal mining in the Rockies for good. In my opinion, after looking into it, you can't trust the coal companies on this stuff, and you can't trust the government. The only people you can trust, in my opinion, are the people who are working to save the Rockies. And I'm not being a hippie about it. It's just that you can't trust these coal companies 1 inch, because if they get their foot in the door, it'll change the face of the mountains here forever. All you got to do is look 100K west into the Elk Valley. That's our future if we let the coal companies in here. And if they get their foot in the door, they're not going away. So now is the goal line stand. Now is the time to stop them. And like I said, I've dealt with them, and in my opinion, you can't trust them at all. They're in it for money, and they won't be here to clean up the mess. And they're not here for Albertans. They're here for the bottom line. They're here for money. No matter how many golf courses they spruce up, no matter how many park benches they paint, they are here for one thing: to get the coal out of the ground, and they're going to go back to Australia and leave us with the mess. Guaranteed, 100%. I get asked all the time, what can we do about this? Well, there's an election coming up, and the polls are saying that 80% of Albertans don't want coal mines in the Rockies. So ask your potential leaders that are candidates for the premiership and for the MLA seats, ask them, are you pro-coal or anti-coal? No gray area. Are you against coal mining in the Rockies, or are you not? You want to leave yourself loopholes, or do you want to stop coal mining in the Rockies? Simple as that. But the thing is, it's a sunset industry, making steel from coal. They're already developing techniques in Scandinavia to do it with hydrogen, and that stuff's coming. Like every technology, it's coming. So I don't know if it's 5 years or 15 years or 20 years, but it's coming. Metallurgical coal is not going to be around forever. And number two, there are plenty of places that have vast deposits of metallurgical coal that are already mining it and have no intention of stopping. So there's just no reason to ruin our Rockies and pollute our water in a sunset industry where, like, you don't want to look back in the rearview mirror 20 years from now with the tops ripped off the mountains and the water fouled for our grandchildren for an industry that doesn't even exist anymore. So I think we should ban coal mining in the Rockies today.